Hello and welcome to Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 in your CA syllabus. Chapter 6 is Basics to Writing and Chapter 7 is Précis Writing. The thing is, I have combined these two chapters because Basics to Writing is comparatively a small chapter and so is Précis Writing. And since we are beginning with writing, I thought if we combine Précis Writing with Basics to Writing, it will become easier for us to understand what writing is all about. Up till now, we have seen various elements of English grammar, they being vocabulary, direct and indirect speech, active and passive voice. Now comes the time to actually put it to use. The chapters from now on all focus on your writing skills. So you have to have your A game of writing on by now. Um, from here onwards, all the chapters together carry around 35 to 40% of total marks weightage. So you realize how important this is. So let us begin. We will see what are the contents. First one is introduction to writing. Then we will see what are the different steps for writing. Then styles of writing. Then we will do introduction to précis writing. We will understand what is the difference between a précis and a summary. What are the qualities of a good précis and the précis writing procedure. Looks small, but we have a really long way to go. So let us begin. What is writing? Writing is a complex activity that requires vast vocabulary, knowledge of varied sentence structures, and correct grammatical usage. So you see, we need a good vocabulary first of all. If you want to have good writing skills, you need to have good vocabulary. Then you need to have knowledge of varied sentence structures, which is the reason we studied about simple sentences, complex, compound, active, passive, all these things we have studied. And correct grammatical usage, sentence formation, place of verb, all of it plays a very, very important role in writing. Presenting content in a logical and sequential manner is another essential aspect of writing. The thing is, when you write, your audience is not, maybe most of the times, not in front of you, okay? Immediately, they are not going to be able to give you feedback. Therefore, presenting it in a logical manner becomes of utmost importance in writing skills. You want that person who's reading your article or your essay or whatever you have written to get a clear idea of what you are writing. Therefore, you have to present it in a logical and sequential manner. That person should not be confused. Multiple areas of brain are used in creating text, organizing words and sentences sequentially so that they make sense to the reader. So understanding how to put it in the correct sequence so that it becomes easier for the reader to understand. Now writing is 50% from not 50, also I would say 80% from the point of the reader and 20% from your perspective, because you need to know who your audience is so that you can write well. Therefore, reader becomes more important than the writer. Okay. Now, writing skills are an important part of communication. What happens? Good writing skills will allow you to communicate your message with clarity and easily to a far larger audience than through face to face or telephone conversations. Up till now, we have only studied the various grammatical functions. Now is the time to put them to actual use. Correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling are key in writing. Punctuations also very, very important. The reader will form an opinion of you, the author, based on both the content also and presentation also. And errors will not give you a good impression. They will form a very bad or negative impression about you. The good news, however, is that writing is a skill which can be learned like any other skill in life. So let us get to understanding how to improve this skill. Next slide is writing is a skill to be developed, right? Like I said, it is a skill that can be learned and developed like all the other skills. For example, swimming is a skill. We learn it eventually, right? Or riding a bicycle is a skill. So we learn it. All these skills can be developed and learned. First of all, like I said, writing is very, very important. You need to use correct grammar, and punctuation marks also play an important role. So, it is an important medium of communication used to express ideas, opinions, and exchange information. Writing is going to be of utmost importance as you begin your professional lives. You have to write a lot of emails to institute, to your principal, to your colleagues, to your clients. In today's world, you communicate everything through emails or letters because it maintains a permanent record, right? So you do not want your writing skills to be bad because they will be a permanent record of how you communicate with people. Therefore, it is an important medium of communication. Writing down ideas helps in bringing clarity to the thought process. How we think. If we think logically, to arrange it in a simple language, in a clear language, is a very, very important writing skill. Why do you have to write? Because it saves information for later reference. Like we saw in note making. Why do we make notes? So we can use them later on to study or to write your other material. More and more companies are looking for people with good communication skills. So even if you're applying for a job, the most important thing that they will check you on are your communication skills. Therefore, you have various rounds like the GD, like the general discussion, or other areas wherein they test your communication skills. They may be oral also, and they may be written also. Most companies will have a written test also for articleship. So these are all important skills that you are being tested upon. Now, steps for writing process. Now, writing is a process which takes a long amount of time compared to speaking. Because speaking, you speak whatever comes to your mind immediately, you can transfer it through the use of words orally. But writing is a comparatively complex process. Let us see what is the process, what are the steps involved in writing. The first step is obviously deciding the topic. Now, if you have ever participated in an essay competition, you will know. They will give you around 3 or 5, whatever number of topics, and you have to choose a topic to write an essay. So now obviously everybody wants to write very well. So you will choose a topic that you can write upon. For that, what you need to have a lot of information about that topic. And if you do not have, if there is sufficient time for you, then you can research and decide which topic to take. So first one is deciding the topic. This is the very first step of writing content, is to choose and decide a topic on which we want to write. Selection of topic is also going to depend upon your target audience. Target audience मतलब who is going to read what you are writing. उस पे भी depend करेगा कि आप कौन से topic select करो या decide करो. Writing a children's book should involve a lot of funny and interesting characters, right? So that is your target audience. If your target audience is kids, you need to have a lot of funny and interesting characters. If you have read Harry Potter, then you would know why that book became so famous among children. It had so many interesting things. But if you're writing an essay for a college magazine or for a research paper, then you would need a lot of research to back up your information. So this is your target audience based how you will decide what to write, right? Then second one is brainstorm. What do you understand by brainstorming? Brainstorming means to research, to think, to decide so many things, what to write, how to write. That is brainstorming. You will think a lot and you will collect a lot of information by researching also. So brainstorming is nothing but researching and collection of information. After knowing the topic, obviously the next step is to research as much as possible and collect relatable information. Collect and note all the random thoughts, ideas, information related to whatever your topic is. Research the concerning audience and try to find what they want. Identify the main theme of the content. Now, target audience. Target audience. This word you're going to hear throughout this video. So, let us first understand what is this concept. Target audience means for whom are we writing. That person is very, very important, or that group of people is very, very important. That's why we need to research ki what do they want from our writing. What are they looking for? What is the central idea that they want through our writing skills? That is the most important part. Next one is organizing the content. After you have decided the topic and researched all the information and collected जो भी आपके पास है, you need to organize it in a logical and sequential manner. The next step after noting down the information is to organize it in a proper sequence. Creating an outline of the write-up will help you in appropriately organizing the content. You need to know what is the flow of your essay or your report or whatever that you're writing. Flow matlab kya? Introduction, opening paragraph, what all will you put? Then next paragraph, second paragraph will be your information related paragraph, whatever you want to say. Third paragraph also your opinion or your assumptions or your take on whatever has been said up till now, and last will be your closing paragraph. This is usually the way a essay is written, but depends on what you're writing, you will have to organize the content in the correct order. This is because sometimes when the article is long, why you need a outline. When the article is long enough, outlines will help you to identify the order and help in breaking the paragraphs to get meaningful information. How can you do this? You can do this through the use of flowcharts, रे डायग्राम्स, sequential forms, या फिर comparison and contrast के भी there are diagrams. प्रॉब्लम एंड सोल्यूशन वाले रहते हैं, कॉज एंड इफेक्ट वाले रहते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कॉज एंड इफेक्ट, इफ यू से इज साइंस अ बून और बेन, तो क्या कॉजेस है, व्हाट आर द कॉजेस दैट इट इज अ बून. कॉजेस मतलब what are the reasons, and effect, what are the effects of those things. That is the cause and effect way of organizing content. Then problem and solution also. For example, is economic का कुछ होता है, bullish markets, bearish markets, if you're writing about that. Your problem, what is the problem and the solution for that. So you can organize your outline in these ways. There are diagrams for this in your module, you can refer to that. So these are some ways in which you can create an outline to organize the content in a proper and logical manner. The next step is to write it down. Now that is the main task for a writer, writing, right? You must always use simple and very direct language for your article. The choice of words and the division of paragraphs, you should have appropriate headings and subtitles, and facts and figures should create a huge impact on the reader's mind. Whatever you're writing, if it has facts and figures, for example, you're writing some report or you're writing some report या फिर analysis, then figures become also very very important. So you must use appropriate headings and subheadings for the information to become more noticeable and easy to read. Next one is revising. Now, whenever we write, usually what happens, we feel that we have written ekdam perfect and there's no need for us to read through it again, especially during exams. I know a lot of people, so once they will write the paper and they don't want to read it again because they say, ma'am, I get confused sometimes whether what I have written is correct, and if there are MCQs, I get more confused. I think some other answers are right, so I change my answer and then I realize that the answer that I wrote first was correct. Although this may be true, for writing skills, I recommend that you always read whatever you have written, because what happens, we think at a much faster speed than we write. So sometimes we miss out on words, or there may be grammatical mistakes, there may be punctuation mistakes, some spelling mistakes might have happened. So it is always better to revise. Do not assume that the first write-up is the final one, as you need to revise your content, such as adding more information or deleting या फिर reorganize करना है आपका matter, that you can do in this revision stage. Sometimes you realize that you might not, some information that you have written is not needed, it is not required, you can always omit it. Or you might feel that some point has not been stressed enough, so you can add more information and stress on those points. All this you can do in the revision stage. Next one is your editing and proofreading. Editing and proofreading. Editing में what all you will use, see font size, font whether it is good, then margins, all these things are editing, and proofreading for spellings, grammatical mistakes, punctuation, all that. So basically this is the work of your proofreader. If you are publishing a book, proofreaders are allotted for this by the publishing house, and they will check all whatever you have written. So this is the second last stage of your book publishing, and the final stage is obviously printing. Whatever you print and publish, if you have a blog, you would know you have to edit and proofread once before you publish that post on your blog. So that is the last and the final step of your whole writing process. अभी ये हो गया what are the steps in writing process, but there are different styles of writing. How do you write? Now, every writer has his or her own style of writing. It is a reflection of the author's mood, tone, perspective, personality, and objectives of writing a particular piece. For people who read, it will be easier to relate to this. People who like to read, and if you have read P.G. Wodehouse and if you have read Oscar Wilde, you will notice the difference between the style of these two authors' writing. P.G. Wodehouse has a sort of self-depreciatory sense of humor, whereas Oscar Wilde writes very rich English, and it is usually very lucid style of writing. It does not have any self-depreciatory humor. So these are the two styles of authors. Or if you read Ruskin Bond, his a simple language, basic English, good enough for a small child also to understand. So that these styles of writing also portray the person's personality. Now, in your module, you have these 4 types which we have to read in detail. I have not put the information related to these styles in much detail on the slides, but I will explain it. So, I request all of you to sit with a pen and paper from now on so you can write whatever I am telling you. The first one is an expository style of writing. The next one we are going to see is persuasive or argumentative style of writing. Third one is descriptive, and the last one is narrative. So let us see what is expository. First I'll read what is on the slide and then I will give you my explanation. Expository writing is writing that seeks to explain, illuminate, or expose, which is where the word expository comes from. The main purpose of this type of writing is to spread information. This style of writing attempts to relay facts for a purpose. It is objective in nature. The writer's opinions, emotions, biases, or points of view have no place in it. This type of writing includes textbooks, या फिर research papers, reports, and essays. Okay. So from whatever we read on the slide, we realize that expository style of writing is one of the most common types of writing. Textbooks, right? Most common type of writing. When an author is writing in an expository style, basically what they're trying to do, all that they're trying to do is explain a concept या फिर impart the knowledge that they have from themselves to a wider audience. Okay. Now, expository writing does not include the author's opinion या फिर his bias, but focuses only on accepted facts about a topic, including statistics या फिर कोई और other evidence होगा that. Now, what are the types? इसमें research है, textbooks, recipe writing या फिर business, technical or scientific related writing. All this is expository. Basically, you are only explaining a concept. You are not giving your opinion or your view about it. This is what expository style of writing is all about. Let us see next one. Persuasive या फिर argumentative style of writing. The aim of persuasive writing is to convince and influence a reader of a certain idea or position on an issue. The writer persuades the reader to accept his point of view through arguments supported by reasoning and facts. Persuasive writing is common to editorials, speeches, and advertisement. Okay. So nothing but persuasive writing is the main style of writing for academic papers, right? Now, when an author writes in persuasive style, they are trying to convince the audience. You want to persuade a person to believe what you're saying. You want to convince the audience of a position or belief that you yourself have. Persuasive writing contains the author's opinions and biases as well as justification and reasons why the author believes what he believes, and evidence also है उसमें. So basically, persuasive writing contains the author's opinions and biases as well as justification and reasons given by the author as evidence of the correctness of their position. Any argumentative essay you write should be in the persuasive style of writing. This is common to advertisements, right? Because you want to persuade या फिर convince a person to buy your product. So advertisements या फिर cover letters also of companies and all. These are all in persuasive style. Basically, you want to convince someone to buy your product or to buy your idea. These are persuasive styles. So in this, if you want to convince a person, what do you need to do? You need to give that person reasons and justifications of why you think it is correct, what you believe or what you're saying. So therefore it will have justifications and reasons, and it will also have your opinion, why you think so, and bias also. Obviously we are all biased in some way or another, why we like a particular person or why we like a particular thing. We have our own personal reasons also. So those are our opinions and biases. Next style is about descriptive. Okay. This style involves description of a particular action, object, person, place, event, or sense. The expository and descriptive writing both entail describing what is being written about, but a description is more detailed, personal, and subjective. It is vivid, uses figures of speech, and allows the reader to sense, see, and feel everything that a particular phenomena evoked in the writer. Okay, so basically descriptive writing has a lot of description. It is often found in fiction, right? Fiction matlab story books या फिर novels. It can also make appearance in non-fiction styles sometimes. When an author writes in a descriptive style, they are painting a picture. Basically, they want you to see what they see. So they are describing it in detail for you. The author might use a lot of figures of speech such as metaphors या फिर other figures of speech like onomatopoeia or exaggerations or any of such sorts, so that you can see what the author is trying to explain या फिर describe. In order to describe the author's impressions, why are there 5 senses? What they hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. But the author is not trying to convince the audience of anything or explain the scene. They are merely describing things as they are. So descriptive style is all about describing. Narration mein there is a difference if you notice. Narrative style you are only explaining a concept. Okay? But in descriptive style you are explaining what you see. So narrative style mein there is no place for your opinion or your bias. But in descriptive style, my bias is what I see or how I see. So I'm only describing what I'm seeing. I'm not convincing you, but I'm telling you what I feel or what I see. So this is the basic difference between narrative style of writing and a descriptive style of writing. So this is more common to what poetry, novels and travelogues. Travelogues matlab people write their travel diaries. So all this is descriptive style is common to these types. The last one is narrative. Okay. Now what is narrative? Narrative style is about storytelling, narrating a tale, complete with characters, actions, dialogues, plot, and setting. It is usually fictional but can be non-fictional as well if it depicts real life events and stories. Narrative writing is mostly personal and imaginative. It is original and self-expressive. Writers attempt to relate universal truths through poetry and telling stories. It is common to diaries and scripts. So, basically, narrative writing is used in almost every longer piece of writing, whether fiction या फिर non-fiction. When an author writes in a narrative style, they are not just trying to impart information, they are trying to construct and communicate a story complete with characters, conflict, and settings. So, narration is nothing but your movie scripts. है ना? They have all these characters. When I tell you about a story, like movie story, if I tell you haven't watched that movie and I'm telling you the story of the movie, you can actually picturize that story after closing your eyes. So this is narration. There will be dialogues, there will be lot of drama, and all this will be there in narrative style. So this is the last style of writing. So we saw 4 types. Expository. Expository was what? It had all about explaining a concept. The next one was persuasive. इसमें you want to convince or you want to persuade a person. Third one was descriptive. Descriptive में you're only describing what you see or what you feel or what you want the person to see. And narrative style will have everything, characters, fiction, drama, all that. All the drama will be in narrative. Okay. So these are the 4 styles of writing. Now let us move on and see what are the characteristics of good business writing. I have not put anything in detail about these points, so I'm going to explain and you should write it down. Okay, good business writing. So we know that we are talking about only business writing and not writing in general in this particular slide. So clear purpose is the first point. A writer should not start the message unless he knows how. That is, how means use of language, and what means what's the central idea that he wants to say. A message which is written in simple and ordinary language is always natural and appreciated. A person must know the reasons for what he is saying and why he is saying it. If you have nothing to say, better not to say anything. So if you have a purpose, only then you should communicate. Without purpose, do not communicate. So you must have a clear purpose. You must know what you want to say first of all. The purpose should be very clear. Next one is clarity and conciseness. Clarity means to write clearly with precise words. So the reader of your work knows exactly what you mean. And conciseness means to use the least amount of words to get your message across. So you have to be clear and you have to be concise. In short, you have to say whatever you want to say. Avoid repetition. Avoid using difficult words. And give a clear and concise message will do what? It will save time also and expense also. For whom? For both sender as well as receiver. For example, अगर message clear नहीं है तो I have to again ask for clarity. Waste of time, waste of energy, and waste of money also if communication is happening through courier or post or even email. Time is getting wasted. Time is money, right? Therefore, a clear and concise message will do what? It will save both time also and money also. Next one is target audience. Now, let us understand what is target audience. Target audience means the person or group of people a piece of writing is intended to reach. Piece of writing is intended to reach. When a writer knows the target audience, he or she will shape both the purpose and tone of writing to match the audience ka need and expectation. Writing for a target audience will help you ensure that your content is relevant to the people you are trying to reach. If my target audience is CA Foundation students, my language, my presentation should be that good, right? I cannot have very lousy presentation. So this is the reason you should know who your target audience is. The choice of words that you will use, difficulty level in those words, grammar, all these are important to know how to write. If you know your target audience, it becomes easier for you to decide how to write. The next one is a suitable tone. Tone, you may think, how is tone related in writing? Because tone is more important in speaking, you may feel. But nahi. In speaking, just not my words, but how I'm speaking those words also make a difference. Similarly, in writing also, tone is there. In writing, tone is defined as the writer's attitude towards the reader and the subject of the message. Attitude, correct? Of attitude towards whom? Towards the reader. And what? And the subject also of the message. Now, the overall tone of a written message affects the reader just as one's tone of voice will affect the listener in an everyday exchange of information. For example, sometimes you just read a person's letter and you feel so warm and loved by the choice of words that that person has used. The attitude that he has towards the reader is that of caringness and love. But whereas in some letters, if you read, you feel very uh, how do I put it? You feel very uh, aloof. You don't connect with that person that easily. Even if you know that person on a very personal level, you don't feel connected. Whereas in the first example, you may not know that person that well or personally, but still you feel a lot of connection. So this happens because of the tone of the writing. Appropriate format. Now, format comes into importance for business writing because formal letters always have a format, or a report will always have a format. How to write a report, उसका fixed format रहता है. या फिर how to write an essay, उसका भी एक fixed format रहता है. So appropriate format is important. Format refers to the appearance or presentation of your writing skills, and another word for format is also a layout, right? Some companies will have a proper layout even for your resumes or CVs. So having that correct format is important, mainly because it makes your work easy to read and understand, and it will reduce the reader's work in return, which makes him happy. So appropriate formats are very, very important in business writing. The next one is personal opinions and emotions. If you're writing a how do I put it? If you're writing a business letter, it is usually advisable not to put personal opinions and emotions. And if you want to put personal opinions and emotion, there is a fixed way or a proper way of expressing what you feel, right? So choice of words and how subtly you put it in business writing is very, very important. So personal opinions and emotions are also a very important part of good business writing skills. This ends your 6th chapter, and now we will proceed to 7th chapter, which is précis writing. So first let us understand what is a précis. A précis writing is a shortening of a text in one's own words. The term is derived from the French word précis, meaning precise. A précis gives an accurate and concise description of the substance or the main idea contained in the text without losing its meaning. It is an exact reproduction of the logic, organization, and emphasis of the original text. So basically, précis writing means you're supposed to shorten the information or the text or the passage that has been given to you. You have to be accurate in transferring the information, and you have to be concise. Concise means you have to only put the main idea across without losing its original meaning. And it is an exact reproduction of the logic. Reproduction of what? Of logic, organization, and emphasis of the original text. So a précis is nothing but a miniature portrait of the passage. It will remain it retains the absolute essential points accompanied with the mood and tone of the author of the passage. So you're not supposed to change the mood, the tone, and the information of the passage. It is a summary or gist of any writing passage. A précis should give all essential points so that anyone reading it will be able to understand the idea expressed in the original passage. Okay, so you are basically putting across only the main idea, and if I tell you a précis, you should be able to sort of get a good idea of what the original work or the original passage is about. Now you may feel that summary and précis are similar, but no, there is a difference. What is the difference? The first and most important difference is that a précis is a brief statement of a piece of writing, such as a report, article, or a chapter from a book, whereas a summary is a short account of longer pieces of work, such as a thesis or a novel. So basically, uh, Précis we are making maybe of a small report or article also we can make a précis, but summary is nothing but it is like a review or a smaller account of longer pieces. Longer pieces means how long? A novel or a thesis. So précis can be made from shorter articles also, but a summary is of a story or of a big book or a novel or a thesis. Okay. Next one is a précis follows the order and proportion of the material in original, whereas the writer of the summary is free to change the order and proportion if he wishes to do so. So précis में most important part in when we read the first slide was arranging the information in the way in which it is in the original passage. So the sequence is also important in précis. In summary, it is not so. You have a little bit liberty to change that. The next point is a précis states only the thought of the original text, whereas the writer of a summary is free to interpret the material and to comment on it also. So basically, précis mein you're not supposed to have your own personal opinions or your own thoughts in the précis. But in a summary, you're allowed to have a little bit liberty with your own comments also. And you're free to interpret it the way you want. Précis mein you have to keep the essence, the tone also, and the mood also of the author intact as it is. You're not supposed to change it. Okay? So these are the main differences. A précis is different from a summary. In a summary, you should give all the details, and a summary will be at least as long and sometimes even longer than the original text. Whereas a précis, on the other hand, must always be shorter than the original one. It should only express the main idea or theme, that too as briefly as possible. So this is the main difference between a summary and a précis. Now, what are the qualities of a good précis? Just as we have qualities of a good business letter, we have some qualities of a good précis as well. So let us see. First one is clarity. In any written or spoken communication, clarity is the most and the first most important quality that must be there. Clarity, a message should be written in simple and ordinary language is always natural. How will you get clarity? You use common and simple language. You must construct effective sentences and short paragraphs. Use concrete words instead of abstract words and avoid all the unnecessary information. So clarity, you should know the purpose of why you are writing the précis. Then automatically that clarity in your thoughts and writing will come. Clear message should communicate the idea as it is in your head to the reader. It should be that crystal clear. Getting it? So first point is clarity. Next one is what? Objectivity. Objectivity means what? What is the meaning of objectivity? Objectivity means how you are presenting your facts and views without it biasing your feelings or personal opinion. Basically, you're supposed to give a third person point of view. You're not supposed to let your emotions and your feelings affect the central idea or the précis that you're writing. In stricter terms, précis writing should be a summary of the passage or text given to you. It should not include your personal idea or opinions. So जो दिया है उसको उसी तरह से shorten करके we have to write. We do not have to put our opinions or feelings or emotions in it. Okay. Next one is correctness. Correctness is more related to what? To grammar and facts and figures. At the time of writing a précis, the writer must ensure that the facts and figures are correct. Now, structure of sentences is also a very important part in correctness. And spelling of words must be correct, because a single mistake in structure and spelling may spoil the entire message. So to check for correctness, check misspelled words, figures and dates and punctuation marks. Very important. Coherence. Next point is coherence. What is coherence? Coherence means logical and clear interconnection of ideas. Clearly the ideas should be connected to each other. The ideas which are presented must have a logical connection and they all should be interrelated. So you cannot have first sentence meaning something else and attach next sentence which is absolutely not connected to the first sentence. So arranging those sentences in the correct order is also equally important. In short, we may say that the idea should be well knitted so that the reader may not be confused and loses interest. Very, very important. Next one is completeness. A précis should be complete in all respects. Completeness means that the writer should include all the important facts in a précis. To make it short, he should not omit the important ideas. The mistake on the part of the writer will spoil the importance and meaning of the précis. So just because précis is a short summary, we do not mean that you will omit the important points or the message that is given in the original passage. So completely you have to take the essence out of the passage and write it. You should not miss out any important points. Next one is conciseness. Conciseness means to say all that needs to be said. You have to say everything that is important. The writer should write what is necessary and avoid writing unnecessary details. A concise piece of work conveys the message in the fewest possible words. Again, you must not omit any important essential facts just to achieve conciseness. So basically, what is a précis? A précis is nothing but a gist या फिर a small summary of the passage that has been given. Now, how will you write the précis? We will first understand that. First of all, read the passage carefully. Then, decide what facts or ideas in the text are essential. So, I suggest that when you read the passage that has been given to you for précis writing, at that time itself you take the pencil and start underlining what are the important points or the main idea in that passage. So, you will not have to keep on reading the passage again and again to write your précis. Then decide what facts or ideas are in the text are essential. Then select a suitable title for the précis. So depending on what the passage is talking about, you will have to select a appropriate title for the précis. So decide on a good title. And the title should also be short and simple. Do not complicate it. Then collect all the key points and prepare a first draft of the précis, keeping in mind the need to reduce the original text to 1/3 its length. So you're supposed to make it 1/3 of what the original passage is. 1/3 is roughly, it is not exactly count the words and make it 1/3. Not like that, but roughly 1/3 hona chahiye. Read the draft and make any changes. If you feel there are any changes that you can make for it to be better, please go ahead and make those changes and redraft and finalize the précis. So basically, this is what is given in your module, but now listen to what I'm saying. First of all, read the passage. When you're reading at that time only you start underlining what you feel is important. If you do not understand in the first reading what the passage is about, read again. Again you mark what you feel is important. And then what you do, you select the title, you wait patiently, close your eyes, think about the entire idea, absorb it, then think of a good title. The title should be small, simple and appropriate for the passage. Abhi all the key points so you have collected when you have underlined. So just arrange them in the correct order, the way it is given in the passage. Do not change the order of the things that are happening in the passage. The logical sequence should be as it is given in the passage. And try to write it in smaller sentences so it becomes easier and uncomplicated for you to read later on. Read the draft, and if you have any changes to make, please make them and redraft and finalize. In exam, most of the times you will not get time to make 2 drafts. So please make sure that whatever you are writing, you are 100% sure of what you are writing it. Okay? You please reread it because there can be grammatical mistakes, there can be the sentences may not be arranged in the correct order. So you have to reread it. There is no other way than rereading the passage. So reread the passage and finalize your passage. Usually the number of words is given in the bracket at the end of a passage. So you just divide it by 3. Approximately number of words you will get. After writing the passage, just give it a quick count. Around 10 5 to 10 words आगे पीछे is okay. You're allowed to do that. So just, and if you get the time, write the number of words in your précis also at the end in the bracket. That helps for the person who's checking your paper to understand how short you have made it. Okay. What are the points to remember? A précis must not exceed 1/3 of the length of the original passage. Identify the central idea and omit unnecessary details. Eliminate wordy expressions from the précis. Basically, simplify whatever is given. Simple words may are supposed to simplify. Avoid unnecessary repetition. Every précis should have a short and appropriate title. It should be written in the words of the précis writer. You are supposed to use your own words, not copy the words from the passage. The main ideas of the original text should be presented in the same order in the précis. Very, very important. Again and again, this fact is being stressed upon. The order should not be changed. Do not introduce ideas of your own in the précis. You are not allowed to introduce your ideas, not allowed to give your opinions, your emotions. Objectivity is the most important point in précis writing. Do not criticize or change the author's ideas. We are nobody to criticize or change that person's ideas. We are only supposed to write a précis. Always use the third person, reported speech and past tense while writing a précis. Very, very important. 3 things. क्या थर्ड पर्सन में लिखना है, रिपोर्टेड स्पीच में लिखना है, एंड पास्ट टेंस. रिपोर्टेड स्पीच मीन्स इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच. Only universal truths should be written in the present tense. Universal truths means we are all mortals and such truths which are not going to change even at the end of the world or end of time. So these are universal truths. Only they should be written in present tense. So in short, I can say that a well-written précis should be a serviceable substitute for the original work. It should be a serviceable substitute. The goal of a précis is to preserve the core essence of the work in a manner that is both clear also and concise also. So this is all about your 6th and 7th chapter. You need to practice a lot to get the correct number of words or the correct way of writing a précis. There are a few passages, example के दौर पे in your module, you can go through that. And in many grammar books also, like in Brennan Martin and many other grammar books, you will get a lot of précis writing examples to solve. So please go ahead and solve those. Ensure to do 1/3 the size, not exactly counting the number of words, but in general, you're allowed to do a few words in more or a few words less also. That is okay. So that's it for this video, and we shall meet in the next one. Thank you.